When I was 14, I planned my wedding.
This one's wife. The difficult wife. Eric Tedisco writes in the New York Post, Prince Harry is bored with difficult this one's wife. Never sees his friends. The Prince of Regrets. Prince Harry reportedly misses his home country and does not see his friends anymore because they don't like his wife, this one's wife. Harry is increasingly bored and looking back across the Atlantic where most of his army and school friends still live, and whom he never sees because they won't visit him in the States because they find this one's wife difficult. This is what royal expert Tom Quinn, yes, it's him again, when he spoke to the Mirror. This isn't new news in the slightest. First of all, Harry was the one that chose to marry this woman. He is the one that chose to enter and remain in the awful shared fantasy. Admittedly, he had no idea what he was getting into because he didn't realise that he'd been ensnared by a narcissist. Typically, as she sought to isolate him from perceived interfering influences such as his family and friends, he has become more and more isolated. Not only did he have the difficulty of moving to a country that was not familiar to him, which would perhaps unsettle anybody and cause them to be homesick, he then has to deal with the fact that his own wife, the person that he believes loves him and ought to care for him, repeatedly devalues him. The fact that his support networks have been stripped from him, the whole royal family structure, the palace with all of its influence and systems that hitherto helped Harry, the fact that he has next to nothing to do with his father and his brother, the fact that he no longer has anything to do with the sister-in-law that he once adored, that he doesn't get to see his friends, and indeed those friends saw that this one's wife, as one of them described her, as being a little bit nuts. And in the circumstances, not only have they not been encouraged to spend time with Harry because of her, but they also see the way that Harry has changed as a consequence of her influences. All of this is a standard outcome when it comes to the victim of a narcissist. If I recall correctly, I think for a period of time, Tom Inskip, one of Harry's friends, actually lived in the United States. Whilst, of course, it's a large country, being on the same continent didn't move him to want to go and see Harry. Further evidence of the impact that his wife has had. The article continues by explaining that one of Harry's longtime friends, Hugh Grosvenor, who was Archie's godfather, got married in England last month, but Harry and this one's wife didn't go to the wedding. Reason being, as reported in parts passing, they were not inviting it. A royal expert claimed the Sussexes skipped out on celebrations to avoid disturbing everybody at the soiree, which of course is just the spin that is put on matters after the event as a consequence of the fact that nobody wanted them there. Why would you invite two people, one of whom will seek to overshadow your day when it's your big day, and a pair of individuals who are largely reviled by many people as a consequence of their behaviours? The reporter explains that Harry's estranged brother Prince William served as an usher at the wedding. The last time Harry was in England was in May for the 10th anniversary of the Invictus Games. At the time, Quinn told the Mirror that Harry didn't plan to see his friends because they are a part of the old pre-this-one's-wife's world that Harry hates to revisit. The reason that Harry didn't plan to see his friends is because they don't want to see him, and he knows that. Although he would like to see them, it's evident that because he has been sucked into the world of this one's wife, they've simply given up on him. That they see him as a changed man, somebody who's had his head completely turned. Now, naturally, it is the situation that when somebody meets a new person romantically, they may start to see less of their friends and family because they're spending more time with this person. And naturally and organically, as time goes on, the balance shifts. That person is somebody that you live with, so you see more of them, and not as much of your friends and family as you might have done when you were single. But nevertheless, the fact is that the individual is still able to remain involved with those appropriate interest groups. However, where the intimate partner is a narcissist, they will seek to isolate the intimate partner primary source from friends and family because they need to monopolize their time, both in terms of making them easy to control and to draw fuel from them. The article explains that Quinn also claimed that Harry's pals feel betrayed because he wrote about his military service in such an unmilitary way in his bombshell memoir Spare. Furthermore, Quinn said that Harry's friends don't like this one's wife and blame her for transforming Harry into what they call Harry the hippie. The truth is that Harry has reinvented himself in a way that just doesn't work for his family or for friends from the past, when he was a very different character, the royal expert added. Earlier this year, he renounced his British residency and claimed America as his home in new paperwork, in which he declared that his new country state was the United States. The move was backdated to June 29, 2023, the same day he and the former Suits actress officially vacated Frogmore Cottage, which left them with no UK residence in their names. However, it's been said recently that Harry is looking for a new place to live in the United Kingdom. King Charles's former butler, Grant Harold, told the Post that Harry had reportedly been eyeing properties in his home country. Thus, the usual speculation in relation to the life of Prince Harry. But it describes his wife as difficult. And of course, that's entirely accurate because she is. She's difficult because she sees the world through a different lens. She sees the world through a lens of control, although she doesn't know that. And that causes her behaviours to be different to those of her around her. And it often means that people don't fully understand why she does as she does. They think that she is like them, at least initially, and they therefore view her behaviours in the way that they see the world, and therefore expect her to behave in a similar way. The narcissist doesn't. The narcissist is governed by the pursuit of the prime aims, seeing the world through the distortion field when it comes to dealing with other people in relation to those prime aims. And the sooner that you understand and grasp that, the easier it is to understand the way that the narcissist behaves. She uses the children, for instance, as leverage because they're an extension of her. Harry is simply an appliance that is there to used. She doesn't care for him. She has no emotional empathy for him. She doesn't care about the fact that he's become ostracised from his family. She deems that it is appropriate because her narcissism tells her that it is appropriate for her to do that. She doesn't see that she controls him. She simply regards him as the husband, but he's there to do what she requires. He is a toaster to her. He will see her behaviours as difficult. He will find himself bored because he's isolated from the people that mattered to him. And throw in the fact that he regularly suffers devaluing behaviour from her. More and more, the risk of him waking up and realising that something truly is rotten in the state of California is all the more likely to occur. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.